Hey everybody, a video today on the Valley of the Kings. Now anybody familiar with ancient Egypt has heard about the Valley of the Kings. It's something I have read about for a long time, but I was not nearly as familiar with the Valley of the Kings as I would have liked, so I did a little reading today, and I thought I'd make this little video and share what I found. First of all, we are going to zoom in on the Valley of the Kings, where it is located in present-day just off of present-day Luxor. And of course, Luxor is most famous for the temple there, the Temple of Man. But if you go just to the west of Luxor, into the first valley here, this is where the Valley of the Kings is located. And it is kind of hidden now. I'll read about that in just a bit here. But this is the main temple complex at the Valley of the Kings. But this is where it is located, in really the first valley just to the west of present-day Luxor, ancient Thebes. And as I back out, you will see where it is in relation to the Nile Delta and the Great Pyramids up here. So now I'm going to go on to an article. Okay, so I wanted to find a good article on the Valley of the Kings that had a lot of good info and history, and I found one here. This is written by Marie Parsons. This is touregypt.net, and I will leave the link below. But I think I will just read. It says this: the first king of the New Kingdom, Ahmose of the 18th dynasty, built a pyramid-like structure at Abydos, which may or may not have been his original tomb. But all the remaining rulers of the period, except for the so-called Amarna period, had their tombs cut into the rocks of the West Bank at Thebes, specifically at the Valley of the Kings. From Thutmose IV in the 18th dynasty of the New Kingdom period, all the kings and occasionally high officials of that period were buried in the secluded wadi or dry gully, which today is called the Valley of the Kings. The valley was known as the doorway or gateway of the kings. And here you see a picture of the main temple complex. It says the valley is hidden from sight behind the cliffs which form the natural backdrop of the temple complex of Deir el-Bahari. And here you see it, and behind these cliffs is the Nile River, so anybody traveling up and down the Nile River would not have been able to view the Valley of the Kings. It was well secluded, but very close to the Nile River, as I showed you. And this is a picture of the village where the workers lived in, who cut these incredible tombs into this side of the hills. And it says this about the tombs in the valley. It says the valley contains 62 tombs to date, excavated by Egyptologists and archaeologists from many countries. Not all of the tombs belong to the king and royal family. Some tombs belong to the privileged nobles and were usually undecorated. Not all the tombs were discovered intact, and some were never completed. The powerful kings of the 18th and 19th dynasties kept their tombs under close supervision, but under the weaker rulers of the 20th dynasty, the tombs were looted, often by the very workers or officials supposedly responsible for their creation and protection. In order to prevent further thefts, the mummies and some of the funerary objects were reburied in two secret chambers, not to be rediscovered until the 19th century of the modern era. And I want to show you this here. This is called KV35, and this is what it actually looks like from a side view. Now these were not, simple just one-room tombs that were cut into the side of the hill here, or the cliffs, but this is the doorway up here, and you would actually go down a chamber, go down a little area into another room, go into a little chamber here, go down another passageway into the main tomb area. So these were very complex things that were cut into the side of these rock cliffs. Now, this is KV35, and there are many important pharaohs buried in this one tomb, and let me go down a little farther here, and you can see this area here, these little areas cut off the main tomb. These were secret chambers that they actually put the bodies of the pharaohs in because of this looting problem. We know Thutmose IV's tomb was looted almost immediately. One of the pharaohs, I believe of the 19th dynasty, put inscriptions in Thutmose's tomb saying, hey, this was looted and we're doing some work to restore the tomb. One of the pharaohs of the 19th dynasty actually put that into Thutmose's tomb, Thutmose IV tomb, so we know this was a very bad problem. And they built these secret chambers that I believe were not discovered until 1898, and they put a bunch of pharaohs off of the main tomb room so their bodies would not be desecrated, I believe. And this is an overhead view, and I believe this area B here is depicted here, and we have Thutmose IV and Amenhotep III, who I believe is the biblical Moses and Solomon, in coffins number 1 and 2, and they just put them side by side in this really small room and sealed it off and hid it. So it was not discovered till about 110 years ago, or 120 years ago. But Thutmose IV, Amenhotep III, Seti II, 3 of the Ramses, and a few others were all put into this one tomb so their bodies would not be desecrated, because these were, to the ancient Egyptians, incredibly important pharaohs. This is livescience.com. I'll leave the link also for this below, but this just had a little photo gallery. And here are some pictures of some artifacts that were found in the Valley of the Kings, including a cow's head that was buried. I believe that had to do with the age of Taurus. But graffiti has been found on the cliff walls, ancient graffiti. We have the workmen's huts as well as the graffiti found in certain areas. This was, I believe, a looted tomb of family members of the 18th dynasty. Same thing here. Ancient sundial that was found buried. Just a few of the other places in the Valley of the Kings here. An ancient jar, or vase that was put back together. And just a few of the other artifacts that have been found buried. Not necessarily in tombs, but just found in the Valley of the Kings. Now I'm going to show you the tomb of Thutmose IV. Since I have talked about him a lot, I thought I'd kind of feature his tomb. Now I was going to make a video about Thutmose IV tomb, but I just thought I'd throw it into this video. Here again is the chambers going down to the main chamber. Here is all you see from the outside. But once you get in, these are incredible tombs, especially the 18th dynasty pharaohs. Here is the ceiling. Here are just a few of the items from Thutmose IV's tomb that were not looted. Here's the wall of his tomb with Anubis and Hathor featured. Here's Hathor and Thutmose, image of Thutmose IV. Here's his sarcophagus with Anubis featured. Great detail was put into these sarcophagus and other items in the tomb, so I just thought I would share that with you real quick. Now, getting back to this article, it says, according to Diodorus and Strabo, and some graffiti, and 2 writers of ancient times, a few of the tombs in the Valley of the Kings were known and visited by ancient tourists during Ptolemaic times. Today, only a few of the 62 known tombs are accessible and open to the public. 11 of the tombs, including Tutankhamun's, Ramses VI, Amenhotep II, and Seti I, have been set with electrical lighting. It says, the earliest king buried in the valley was Thutmose I, and the latest was Ramses XI. In 1922, Howard Carter found the last and possibly most well-known of these tombs, that belonging to the young King Tutankhamun, or King Tut. Now, thank goodness we had this one tomb, King Tut's, that was found in pretty much the original way that it was left 3,500 years ago about. And we can only imagine what some of these other tombs held as far as the riches and the artifacts and the artwork and the gold and etc. But at least we have King Tut's tomb that was found pretty much in pristine fashion, and the artifacts and the secrets of ancient Egypt are pretty much evident in King Tut's tomb. And it's too bad that we lost all these other artifacts from these tombs that were looted by greedy people of ancient Egypt. People always take shortcuts to wealth, and this was happening in ancient Egypt, and pretty much nothing has changed today, so it's kind of understandable. But at least we have King Tut's tomb that was found intact, so we have a clue kind of what these other tombs held. And one thing I did want to mention, I will leave a map below so you can see all the pharaohs and people that were buried in the Valley of the Kings and where they were buried. But back to this article here. This goes over a lot of the good ancient history of the Valley of the Kings. It has some pictures of some tombs. This is the sarcophagus of Thutmose III. And just a few pictures and history. And I will, again, leave the link below if you are interested. But I thought this was an excellent article. It goes over a lot of the ancient history. So, hey, I learned a lot today. Thought I'd share. Hope you thought this was interesting. You have a nice day.